A violent tremor shakes the Pacific. Magnitude 8.8, sirens scream, tsunami! From Russia's Kamchatka to Hawaii, ships flee, beaches empty. The world stares at the horizon, waiting for the ocean to rise. But is this just nature's wrath, or the echo of disasters history has been warning us about? In this episode of Naked History, we'll uncover the truth. What triggered this sudden quake and tsunami scare? How do tsunamis really work? And why Hollywood always gets them wrong? What did ancient Greeks and Romans know about the sea's fury? And the science that still escapes us today, lessons we must learn before the ocean decides to teach us the hard way. In the early hours, a deep tremor jolts the seafloor off Kamchatka. Magnitude 8.8, big enough to make satellites blink and coffee spill in control rooms. Sensors go wild. Within minutes, the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center triggers alerts. Japan, Alaska, Hawaii, even California light up in red. Sirens wail along empty coasts. Local radios interrupt music with robotic voices. Tsunami warning, seek higher ground. Fishermen slash ropes and power their engines to reach deep water, the only safe place if a wave strikes. Cruise ships herd sleepy passengers onto upper decks. Families bundle kids and pets into cars, climbing winding coastal roads. A few grab whatever they can, passports, photos, or in one viral clip, a guy sprinting uphill in flip-flops holding a goldfish bowl. Meanwhile, the internet catches fire. TikTok and Twitter flood with live tsunami predictions, some real, many fake. One viral post shows a supposed 20-meter wall of water. Turns out it's from a 90s disaster movie. For hours, fear spreads faster than the waves themselves. Airports reroute flights, harbors lock down. Satellite images show ships forming nervous zigzags in the ocean. The Pacific feels like a coiled spring, ready to snap. Then, the cameras show almost nothing. A trickle in some harbors, a sudden tide shift in others. A few buoys bob strangely, but no towering waves. The world exhales, confused, and scientists ask the real question, why so little? The Pacific is a restless giant. Beneath its blue skin, titanic plates grind and collide. Kamchatka sits on the ring of fire, a scar circling the ocean where 75% of Earth's volcanoes live. Here, the Pacific Plate dives beneath Eurasia like a conveyor belt. Every year it moves just a few centimeters. Harmless, right? Until decades of pent-up pressure release in a single violent lurch. That's what happened. The seafloor suddenly jerked upward. Imagine lifting the corner of a gigantic waterbed. Billions of tons of water have no choice but to move. A tsunami is born. But it's not a giant wave leaping from the sea. In deep water, a tsunami is a long, flat pulse, hundreds of kilometers wide, moving silently at 500 miles per hour. It passes under ships unnoticed, yet carries the energy of a nuclear arsenal. Only when it meets land does the ocean show its teeth. The coastline shape is the game changer. A wide, flat beach may only see a modest rise. A narrow bay or river mouth can amplify the surge into a lethal torrent. This is why Hilo in Hawaii and Minamisanriku in Japan have suffered repeated tragedies. Their geography turns distant tremors into local nightmares. Tsunamis suffer from a major Hollywood problem. Movies love giant curling surf waves swallowing skyscrapers. Reality? Sneakier and more dangerous. In deep water, a tsunami can be barely noticeable. A ship captain might feel a gentle lift, that's all. Yet that wave could flatten a city hours later. The first visual sign is often the ocean retreating. Beaches widen, seabeds appear, fish flop in the sun, children run to play, tourists take selfies. Locals scream, "Run!" When the water comes back, it isn't a dramatic breaker. It's a rising wall of mass, like the entire ocean is suddenly angry and moving inland. Here's the cruel trick. The first wave isn't always the worst. In 2004, survivors in Sumatra fled inland after Wave 1, thinking it was over. Wave 2 was taller, and far deadlier. Tsunamis also cross oceans. In 1960, a Chilean quake sent waves to Japan, killing 142 people 17 hours later. The ocean never forgets a shove, it just delivers it with interest. Humans have feared the ocean's anger for millennia, and they left warnings, in history, in myth, and in ruins. Roman historian Ammianus Marcellinus described the 365 AD Alexandria tsunami. The sea vanished, exposing shipwrecks and treasures, then returned with a roar, drowning thousands and smashing the ancient lighthouse harbor. In Greece, 426 before Christ, the Malian Gulf shook violently. Waves struck Atalanta Island, tearing homes into the sea, and Helike, a bustling city in 373 before Christ, simply disappeared underwater. Its legend may have inspired Atlantis. These weren't just stories for campfires, they were collective memory in mythic form. Poseidon's wrath, the ocean walking inland, and sacrifices to appease the sea, all ways to make sense of very real trauma. Even further east, oral histories of Pacific tribes speak of mountains eaten by the sea. Geologists have confirmed, layers of sand in marshes reveal ancient megawaves that predate written history by centuries. Nature whispers, but it whispers in languages most of us have forgotten. Today we have satellites, buoys, and supercomputers, but the ocean still keeps secrets with a wicked grin. Slow-slip earthquakes are a perfect example. They move faults silently over weeks. No shaking, no news headlines. Sometimes they're harmless. Sometimes they're the drum roll before a killer quake. Then there are submarine landslides. Picture an underwater cliff collapsing like wet sand. It can launch a local tsunami with zero warning. Norway's Storegga slide 8,000 years ago sent a wave tearing into Scotland. Hidden volcanoes, plenty. Kick 'em. Jenny in the Caribbean is a favorite. Its eruptions can trigger sudden surges. A literal kick from below. And here's the nightmare scenario. Double disasters. A quake triggers a tsunami, and hours later, a second surge comes from collapsing slopes or triggered landslides. In 1700, a Cascadia quake in the US sent a tsunami to Japan. Sediment shows a second wave followed later. Nature basically said, round two. We study the surface, but the deep ocean still holds its playbook of surprises. This time the Pacific spared us. The giant quake became a whispering wave. But history warns, our luck is temporary. The ocean writes its lessons in sand, myth, and memory. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories of our planet, hit like, subscribe, and share. It helps us bring more history to light, before it repeats itself. If we want to survive the next big wave, we must listen to the past. Stay curious!